So I'm Dawn, and the main thing I do really is collect old photographs, photography from, gosh, around the 1850s up until about the 1940s, like personal pictures that they took of their friends and family, and yeah, I guess ways that they express themselves. I started really getting into photography when I was at school because we had a dark room, and I was fascinated by it, the fact that you can just use all this chemistry to literally create, to capture a moment. I was at a market in Oxford, so there's an antiques market on Thursdays, and I saw two albums. One was a photo album and one was like a diary of a brown owl, as in like the brownies, in the really early 30s. And it's the first time I'd kind of seen like someone else's album being sold. And I started looking through it, and it was a mix of like fascination and it was quite sad really. One, there's all the questions about why someone else's memories, the things they've treasured all their life, were suddenly on a stall and being sold for £8 or something. And two, I realised within this album that you get a massive kind of glimpse into this woman's life, and from there it sort of started building. I don't particularly collect any particular time period, and I definitely don't buy everything that I see. You get used to seeing the same pictures over and over again, and the pictures that I look for are the sort of strange and different and unexpected pictures from the past, like things that almost look modern even though they're like in the 1880s. Any sort of thing that jumps out to make us realise that we're not as different today as we think we are. Even today, you know, we put our best face forward. Like, if we look at our Instagram, it's all our perfect, we don't look hungover unless we're trying to look like cool hungover. We look gorgeous and glamorous, and we put a little, make ourselves look beautiful. If I find any real emotions in photographs, I mean, they're really rare, and they're just as rare today. I have all sorts of different types of photos and lots of different guises. So one which is quite fun is in the Victorian times, and actually quite early, so from about 1850 I think, and then this is later, this is turn of the century. For a long time they used to take pictures of stereo photographs, so 3D pictures. Yeah, and it's another one of those things to show that the Victorians or our ancestors weren't that different to how we are today. Then I've got tons of photo albums, loads and loads of photo albums, which are all, I essentially look at them as stories, so I'd never break them apart. And I try to do the maths, but essentially it's just thousands. I would imagine maybe 4,000 or 5,000 photographs, and including negatives. If I find evidence of silliness or humour or comedy in photographs that are not massively staged, true, people mucking around at home, like we do, we have fancy dress parties and we pull silly faces and our friends make us laugh just before a picture's taken. That's not new. I've got loads of pictures of that happening in the Victorian times or 20s, and I love it to sort of prove that we shouldn't be so smug about ourselves now. The Victorians were funny and they were alternative and they were doing their own cool little things. It's just they didn't generally project that to the world. When you're collecting photographs, you buy things by mistake that you don't realise what they are until you scan them in. But one of the weirdest was a woman who, she just looked a bit poorly, and she was in a normal photo studio. She just looked a little bit ill. But then the woman is dead. So obviously in the Victorian times they didn't have a picture in life, dress up the corpse, everything, bring them to a photography studio and have a picture in death, so they got a picture. But this one is just really weird. I still got it, I don't know what to do with it. This is the thing I've been struggling with, is how to describe what I do, because with my collections and things, it's very organic. I've got an eye, I know what I think is beautiful or interesting or profound, or it's got an important message. I know all of that, but I do class myself as more than just a collector. I'm not just a curator and a collector and a custodian of other people's lives, essentially. I want to do more with it than that. I want to get messages out to the world to show that the past was not so different, or what can we learn from the past. Every single one of these moments was a real moment that happened in time, And it was not only a real moment, it was a moment that people, whoever took the picture, valued and thought was important and wanted to say something with that picture.